And basically, like what we just said, that is the basic thing that is happening right now. This is the final stage for the day-long exercise that kicked off at 6 a.m. and ended at 5 p.m. What you can see in the background, that is basically, if you can just move a bit, what you're seeing in the background, that is the returning officer for this particular constituency. This is Kasipul Constituency that attracted the total of 10 candidates that contested this particular seat. And what you're seeing in the background, that is the returning officer for this particular constituency, Madam Rebecca Abwaku, announcing results as they continue trickling from various polling stations. Remember, like I mentioned earlier, this constituency has 142 polling stations that was used for this particular exercise, and there was a total of 67,513 registered voters for this particular constituency, and all of them, not really all of them, but those that got the chance to come and exercise their democratic right to elect their member of parliament. But then that is something that we noticed, the low voter turnout. In all the stations that we visited, per station, there was about 500, between 500 and 700 registered voters for a particular station. But you would find that those that turned up to vote were less than 400 or even 300 in some stations, and that gave a range of between 31% and 39% voter turnout. I spoke to quite a number of political leaders and even the poll officials that they alluded to us that the low voter turnout is contributed to the fact that this is a by-election and not a general election. Now that makes a significant difference. What is happening in the background, like I mentioned, that is Rebecca Abwaku continuing to announce results from various polling stations here at Agorosare High School, which is serving as the tallying center for this particular exercise. The results she's announcing is for the 12th station out of the 142. That tells about 130 still to go. That means pointing to probably a night-long exercise, but then we can assure our viewers we'll be here until the tail end of this exercise. This race, like I mentioned during the daytime when we came live to our viewers, this race is not just an opportunity for the locals here to elect their next member of parliament. This particular contest is also politically used as a litmus test for the Homa Bay County leadership in terms of the governor's seat. Governor Wanga, who was backing and leading campaigns for the ODM candidate for this particular election, the candidate is Boyd Owere, the son to the late the immediate former holder of this particular office, that is Charles Ongondo Were. Gladys Wanga was leading that campaign, and of course we expected probably her deputy would follow lead and also back the ODM candidate, but we saw something so surprising. Joseph Oyugi Magwanga, that is the deputy governor for Homa Bay County, threw his political weight behind an opponent, and that is Philip Nation Aroko, an independent candidate also contesting in this seat. But there is a particular pattern that we also observed during the day. In all the stations that we visited, there were two clear frontrunners in this particular election. That is Boyd Were of the ODM party and Philip Nation Aroko, an independent candidate here. But then there is something we've also noticed just when we are here. The crowd you're seeing behind me here, there are agents for particular candidates that were participated in this election, but also this group here. This is a battalion of the ODM party. Gladys Wanga, the governor, is here. The Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament, Opondo Kaluma, is here, just among other leaders associated with the ODM party. That is pointing to a particular incident. We may not call the election yet. Like I mentioned, there are two clear front runners in this election. It is not our work to call it. It is Rebecca's work to announce the final winner. But all indications are clear. We see the ODM battalion here. Remember, the final result is announced at the station, at the polling station, and these agents, I mean the candidates, they have their agents at the polling stations. And so when the polls closed at 5 and counting began, so between 5 and now, So we are sure the agents they have counted the votes and they already know a winner. And that's maybe the reason we are seeing the ODM battalion here. But we cannot call that particular election yet because this is not our job to do. That is the 13th result from the 13th polling station being announced there, and we can assure our viewers that we are still on the ground up to the tail end of this exercise, up to when Rebecca Abwako, the returning officer for Kasipul, will announce the final result. That is what I can. That is what we can announce. But in terms of security matters, of course, we already brought you up to speed regarding the arrest that happened here in Kasipul. That is so far what's happening in Kasipul. But then let us also see what's happening in Baringo, where the senatorial race is also up there. And my colleague Ben Chumba is there. Chumba, if you can hear me, tell us